Welcome, welcome. My name is Katie. This is the Faded Chronicle. Let's see if I can pull up the cover page here. Faded Chronicle A5 full year. And I did do like a really quick unboxing, but I started to set this up over the last week. It's been hard. It's been hard because it's mostly what do I want to put in here? My word for last year was simple, simplify. And it worked. It really, really helped. I love simple things, but I had overcomplicated a lot of things in my life over the years. And, as one does, just like when you move from house to house, you're carrying around that extra baggage, those extra thoughts, those extra reasons that you do things or have things. And you're like, but it's always been there and it's been comforting. And so moving to the Netherlands this last year, that was a big goal. And we got here and it allowed us to shed a lot of things. And so when I found a very different vibe this year of making goals, and I'm going to have a whole separate goals video. This is just like setting up this planner and doing the basics, just getting moved in because I need to plan a week in here. It's already time. Could I do it in the old one? Yes, but because it has that one more week, but it's time. Like I felt like I kept pushing this year going, I'll do it later. And it was nice because this came much later, but I couldn't just keep kicking it down the road. So, yeah, I'm going to do a flip through of my old one and talk a little bit. It's going to be kind of a shorter video. I can't like go into depth about everything that I do in that one, but just to kind of go through it because it came out really lovely. I really do like how everything fell into place there. But I thought I would put this calendar card from Sterling Ink in here. This was, I can't remember which batch. I've got a few batches, and then I swear I got a few more of these calendar cards. Like when I got this one, this is one of the newer ones, I put a couple more somewhere. So I may have simplified, but I also hid some things from myself. So they're around. I like this because it kind of reminds me of my desk. I do want to do some more watercolor at some point, some more photography. And then it's kind of in front of an open window. So that's kind of what I'm going with right now. And then I just really like this sticker with the bike and yes, true crime junkie. So I'm going to be recording my infusions on here. And then if I do switch to shots, I'll also do that here. But I would like to use like a dot marker and for the ones I actually get. So I just kind of penciled them in really lightly just to make sure that they're not like on like right before Christmas. Sometimes I get a little tired after them. And if you're new here, I get infusions for my Crohn's, and usually it's every 8 weeks. And then they have offered that if I take shots, it'd be every 2 weeks. So I will flash to this being my goals for the year. I have my, I'll show last year's because I did it a little different last year. And I'm going to go into this more in depth in a future one. Last year, I had almost the same amount of photos because I had they were all squished together, but I liked having them kind of where I could write around them and give them a little bit more context. And yeah, I mean, it really worked. I love how simple this was, but it also aligned with, we kind of knew what we were doing as the year started. And that was, luck, I guess. We were like, this is what we really want to do next year. And it's one of the really long-term goals and we got it done. So I'll go through each of these in that separate video. And if it's live, I'll link it down below. But I came up with a new word here, thriving. And it just helps to have like the goals and the vision to me right next to each other this time instead of separate as I did last year. So yeah, I'll go into those, really talking about why I made these goals and what it kind of means. So I did, and this is my insert here. It's something that you could draw yourself. Look, it's just boxes, but I really like the structure of it and I've been using it differently. I actually just glued them in. I just, oh, what's it called? Tape in kind of a thing, but I actually just use glue. And so I do have room to like write a little bit more if I wanted to. These are just on the 2 blank pages where you would do a vision board at the beginning of her book. So, or I could just put some double tape here and just have it stay there. So, and these are going to be my quarterly pages, much like in my work planner. I need just a little decoration on each one. And I also found, wait, I should have gotten these out. These circles here, they don't fit like precisely, but they, I mean, a circle will line up pretty well. These are, I got when I was in the US, these are the Mr. Pen transparent sticky tabs. And I've used these quite a few times. Last year, I had them as categories right here. And again, I'll go through that for my goals video, but I was like, wait, these fit in here. And I don't know if the B6 or the TN circles, I would assume are a little smaller, especially the TN, or maybe she has them all the same. I don't know. I don't have those other books, but you can see if these might fit in. These are 28 by 28. So yeah, maybe someone else knows if they will fit, but I love using those. And so here, what I'm going to do is focus on like 3 projects for the quarter. Although I also, I loved this part so much last year. I've talked about it a few times. This is the twines and paper that did not come out this last year. Sorry, did not come out for 2026. This is the 2025 and did not exist this year. So this layout I loved so much, where I could focus on projects and then see how much energy I was putting into each one. Like how many times did I revisit it? How many chunks did I break it up into and still working on things? And I got it all updated. And this is this last month here. But I love this so much, I had to recreate it in here. So I put it in the back. That is my notes section. Sorry, there's a couple tabs here. So I recreated it here. I even put the stickers in the same place. I thought this was the sticker, sorry, the washi tape I had used here. And then when I opened it back up, I realized it wasn't. But I love this one so much, I wanted to dress up this page a bit. So I have room to, like, each one has 6 boxes, but I love having space on the top or bottom so that you're limited to 4. Now I could stick to 3 and then, you know, be able to focus on just 3 for the quarter, but whether I choose 3 or 4 projects, 3 I think is what I want to do here. And then I want to kind of break those down. So that's what I'm going to go into when I talk about these goals. How am I breaking them down? And it's just going to be right here. I love being able to see the months here. I don't know if I'm going to track anything on them, but it does help to just have them kind of in front of you when you're thinking about these goals. I'm not sure what I'm going to use for these 3 either. This I could figure out, this I could figure out, this I could in the goal, you know, not sure about right here. So we'll see. We'll see. There's something that might pop up for that. Maybe it's more health related because I won't have a separate health planner this year. I had a week's last year, and I just found that with all my health stuff, it does help to track important health appointments, and I may write them right here so that at a year's glance, I might be able to like flip through here and go, oh, my yearly checkup for this was in one of these months, right? So that's what I think I would do. And then on this side, I want it to be a total media tracker again. I went back and forth because I used that a lot at the beginning of the year. I was pretty good at tracking, but as you can see, when it came to June, I wasn't watching as much. There were some, and I knew some things that were coming out. I didn't even watch that one show there. I was like, wait, I didn't even watch that. I did watch the Buccaneers, but yeah, I kept pretty good track of, I love TV shows. That's mainly the thing here. And then we moved, and then we picked back up a little bit, and I watched some things here, and then I tried to backdate a little bit, but it's okay. So even if I don't keep track like exactly, it'll be good enough. It'll be good enough. I'll be able to write some things up here. Maybe I'll do movies and books up here and then TV shows here or something. One of my new goals here is to listen to more audiobooks. I am an audiobook person because there's something going on with the tracking of my eyes. I've talked about it in the last couple of years. Like when I try to track just little squares and count them, my eyes kind of jump around. And so it's made it hard to read text on a page, or if I try to, my eyes get really tired pretty quickly. I've gone to the eye doctor the past few years, but I don't think I really brought this up to them because I am overdue. Like we are due for eye checkups right now. So I'll bring that up to them here and see what's going on. And audiobooks allows me to navigate the book world without having my eyes tired out. And also, I'm very much a get chores done with listening to something. So I don't have a huge expectation, like even one book a month or quarter, I'm fine with. So that's what I'm thinking, like something small up here and then list more things down here, but media tracking. So this being my personal planner, I am very tempted to put work things in here, and I'm like, nope, we're extracting that. We're going to have that separate work planner. And yeah. So yeah, I just put a single sticker on each of these to just kind of welcome, make it more welcoming to use these pages. So that's all I did there. This, I am going to track my cycle. Now, I did have a hysterectomy 2.5 years ago. Now, I can't believe it's been that long. It's been wonderful, you know, to not be in pain anymore. But also, I still have cycles, hormonal cycles, and I can still track that until I'm somewhat, I think, very fringy perimenopause, and then making sure that I'm kind of understanding that I am entering in menopause. So I'm in my 40s. So I need to be able to track. And since I don't have a separate health planner, which I think is good, I really focused on just one planner the second half of this year. Like this was my baby that I took around everywhere. Not outside the house, but I meant like whenever I'm planning around the house, it was with me. So putting some symptoms, but also putting what day of my cycle it is. Now, I think I'm starting a new cycle here. I've kind of talked about how I determine that. Usually for me, the only thing that I can really tell is breast pain. So that's primarily when I feel it oncoming, then I know it's PMS. And then when it just stops, that's the first day. So that's what I do to see that. But then I still have a lot of other hormones. Sometimes I have hormonal headaches here and there. I want to be able to track that here and kind of compare month over month. I love being able to see something at a year's glance And that's something to me that's pretty important to see that way. And then we get to the month, and I put metal tabs here for all the months because they are interdispersed between all the weeks, much like the TP1, T and P1. And I have gone back and forth on, should I do monthly decorating like I did in this book? I actually extracted all these little tabs, so that's why they look a little kind of burnished, kind of used. They were all in this one, and I had them like just taped in. I do love decorating a month, but I'm trying to transfer my energy over to some other things I want to focus on. So I think I'm just going to, and honestly, like these monthly like layouts, I use them to schedule, but I don't remember them very much because I really don't look at them. Like I remember this one pretty well just because it was so colorful. But then I don't know if you noticed, and if you've been here a while, when I was looking at November, like I was putting November together, and I think I flipped back to October, and I was like, oh my goodness, that was so cute. And I didn't even like acknowledge that I hadn't used it that much. Like this was so cute. Yeah. So I'm realizing I'm not using, the months are very important to me. Like I don't think I could have a planner with weeks without months. Like it would be a little discombobulating, kind of not disorganized, but concerning. My brain would be like, what's going on? So I need the monthlies, but I think I want to like just lightly decorate them so that they're done for the year, and that whenever I'm opening this, so I went through and I put all the, let me finish my thought pattern there. So that when I'm opening this for the week, I'm just focused on the week of decorating. And there's already 2 pages every week that I need to decorate. Need to, that I want to decorate. It's just that the past tail end of this year, it made it a little harder to keep on track with all of that, and to like keep track of like, wait, it's a couple days before the end of the month. I need to put out the monthly. There's other kind of monthly resets I want to do in a different way. So I'm just kind of transitioning that energy. So now, next concept here, I did go through and I put all of my son's days off. We don't have the new school year yet, so we're not sure there, but there were some days off here, especially in April and May here. They call it like the May holidays. Tulips are big here, so it's really important. They stagger some of the holidays for different regions of the country, and so not everyone is going to see the tulips all at once. Yeah, and then my mom's going to be visiting around this time too, so I definitely need kind of a month planner to look at. And this is our spring break actually in February, because we're on winter break right now. So yeah, that's kind of, I thought on this video here, I could go through and just put in some stickers here that I have. I kind of set some aside, and I love having a kind of handwritten font. And if I put it down here, there are months here that go lower. I think it's August. That takes up some down here. Now these are September down here, so I just don't like the lines. I don't think I want to put September, well, August over the lines there. So I think I'm just going to do them all vertically. And so that you can skip through this next part, but I just thought I would go through and do the months for setting up. And then, yeah, and then this is my projects. And it does not have a next January, so it just only, and it doesn't have a December from this year, from 2025. They just have the 2026 months in here. So yeah, it's just kind of deciding, like, I have some dots here. I have just some random, things that I thought might be kind of nice in here to mix together. I'm not looking at them too much other than to make a few appointments. So I'm not going to stress out about it, but I am going to figure out really quick right here, like what line I'm going to line up to have the January here. I used to put things here in the sidebar every month for my goals of things I wanted to get done, but I have a different system for that now. So feel free to hang out and watch me put some of this together with some music, and I will rejoin you in just a bit. Okay, so I just got done putting a bunch of stickers in here, and I did want to just say a little bit of my thoughts, just because I want to kind of know what's going through somebody's head. So when they're placing stickers, sometimes, so when I was lining up the scripts here, I went 3 rows up and then 3 rows in on each side, so that there happened to be like 2 rows here that I was lining things up with. So I went up 3, and then within these 2 middle rows here, I just kind of centered the text. It's not perfect, and I just kind of was like, well, wherever it lays down is going to be where it's at, because this is really delicate, and I doubt I would have been able to get those back up. So yeah, and I feel good about just getting these decorated ahead of time. It still feels pretty good to have, you know, just to not do monthlies this year. I think it's a little too much for me to go through and do that. So I pretty much was using a bunch of these little samplers, and I'm really glad I just used a bunch of them up. As you can see, Create with Gabby, Serica Studio, and some sterling ink. This is the let's see, December sterling ink from last year. Yeah, a couple sampler 10 and 12. I mean, I don't think you can get much of those anymore. There was this one, Serica, the compositions number 4 kindness one. Yeah, I just thought, you know, why don't I just kind of interdisperse them throughout here, and kind of, I like to have something maybe a little bit more bright in February, a little bit more rosy. So that's why I went here, and this was kind of more introspective, a little bit my goal of books, kind of reminding me there. And yeah, there's still some, a couple other holidays. As I was going through here, I'm like, oh, I didn't put Sinterklaas on here yet. I didn't put, oh, St. Martin's on here. So there's a few more I'm going to write in. And I have daylight saving for us. And then I have daylight saving for the US is before. So there's like a 3-week window here where our times are, I think they're going to be 8 hours apart. Yeah, they'll spring forward first, and then it'll be 8 hours, and then we'll spring forward. And I tried to save these. They're almost tulip-like. I don't think they're quite tulips, but they're tulip enough for me that I had on hand. For April here, and then May flowers, kind of a thing. And you can see a sampler can go a long way. Like if you really, especially on, I don't know, if you keep it just pretty light with things. And then I wanted it to feel a little bit more rosy during the, or a little bit more warmth during this June here into July. And then I started using, yeah, the compositions one. I split it up under with 3 months, right? It was like 3 months there. And what I do is I like to split circles. These were birthdays and things I was going through, or important anniversaries of things. So especially this one, I really liked that it kind of intersected here, and then varying kind of what was going on over here. And then sometimes connecting a line, like if they happen to, and that's what helps with a lot of these. These are transparent, so they do layer really well. I definitely am on the transparent train this year. Many times in the past, I will get the opaque ones, and I still have a bunch of opaque ones. But this one, everything's kind of transparent here, which is nice. And then I tried to go a little bit more fall colors, putting in some of these dots. The dots kind of give it this graphic element and an organic element together. And that's what I really like here. And then I think you saw I placed a darker dot here, and then I moved it because I'm like, I knew I wanted this one in November. There's just something about the richness of the colors. I ended up putting here to kind of anchor it a little bit more. I feel like November is kind of a deeper month that you kind of sink into. And then I was just like, you know what? Do I need anything else here? I like, because I'm paying attention to where these dots are, and I'm glad I put those down for special days and had the holidays in here already and that kind of thing. Again, I'll need to put Santa Claus in here and stuff. But yeah, and then I'm like, you know what? Christmas needs its own little tree there. I just had to put a tree on there. Yeah, and I was like, but that's enough. Like that feels like enough. I'm kind of backing off, and as I start doing more of the weeks inner what's the word? Interchangeably, it just intermittently throughout all of these, I want them to kind of have a similar feeling of not feeling too heavy, I guess, with everything. So this will be our first week, my first week. I kind of started putting in a couple things, but yeah, no, it feels really good to get all of the months put in. And then I'll describe this more when I do my weekly, because it has to do with some other parts. The only thing that I'm really noticing in this whole book, and it's one of those things that you don't notice it until you get it. And it's something that when I created my own inserts, I realized there was a big need for myself to offer lines for bigger handwriting and smaller handwriting. So this is my larger handwriting because I write larger, but these here are definitely, it's going to be a lot harder to write on these lines, or I'll just take up 2 lines. And that's how I did these too, is like when I design them with smaller handwriting, they're just double lined. I just have, technically how I design them is I do them narrow line, like it's spaced out this way. And then I just go through and I delete half of them for the larger handwriting. But I am noticing, like here, I'll take up 2 lines. I think that's a really good way to go here. And I think they'll be enough. You know, I'll just make do because it's not that big a deal. What I'm finding here is a little bit more rigidity in how I'm writing my numbers. And in here, I'm like, do I really want to take up just 1 line here? I know I'm starting to feel a little cramped, and it's like one of those things that I'm going to make it work my own way, because I'm definitely, you know, I moved into this book now. This is my book. I'm probably not going to be changing it up. I do have that core planner, but I really don't see myself using it. Because I'm going to be enjoying Sterling ink in my business planner all the time. So I don't feel like I'm going to be longing for that layout. I'm just trying to figure out here is like, do I use 2 lines? And I feel like that in my gut is what I want to do. Like up here, I'm just going to be putting meals for what we actually have. And it's okay. Like I'm not putting breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me at all. It's not that type of thing. It's just dinners up here. So I'm keeping that simple. And here is just spaced out appointments. So I may have 2 appointments a day. I rarely have 3. I really don't schedule that way unless there's a reason for it. But here and here, like, do I use 2? So that's, again, my eyes are going to go a little wonky here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could do 5 and 5, which I was looking at this going, there are tons of things here. How much do I want to track? And then one of my goals is to get better at calligraphy, because I would love to put in some calligraphy headers in here, like just write script anyway. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. So for now, I'm just kind of writing my own script, and I feel very crunched in here. That's the only part. It's like these headings are so small. Yeah, but you know, it's something where I could write outside. I can write up a little taller, and I feel like if I had a script, I could write up there a little more, much like what Dandelion Diaries, the stickers are, but I don't feel like using these stickers in here. There's something where I'm like, oh, I need to stock up on a bunch more of these. I don't think I do, because my goal is to learn how to do my own script writing, and I would like to incorporate that in here somewhere. And then I used to write, I would straddle this line for the times of things, and now I'm gonna have to trace over that line with my son's school schedule. It's still a gorgeous, I mean, I love the typography up here. I love this. This I get a little confused about, because when I switch to another week, these numbers are throwing me off a little bit. I haven't anchored myself into going, oh, that's the 5th through the 11th. Week 2, like I'm looking up there for some reason to see January. And it's smaller up there, but I'll get used to it. I find, Sterling ink very simple and clean. And there are years where I've needed that. And the twines and paper in this one, to me, have more complexity that I just kind of need right now. And maybe next year it's going to be too much. I kept looking back through my twines and paper and going, what other spreads do I want to copy into here and use? Because I'm like, do I want this one? And I'm like, look how much I struggled. And what I felt like this was really important, and I did keep it up for a while. Right now, looking back at it, do I want to see my sad days? I do want to see my really super happy days. This was when we got our rental, which means we could move. That was why that's such a big deal. But I actually don't feel the need to go back through these. I have the other two, well, where are they? So I do keep a 5-year diary for myself and my son. And I find like this is where I journal, and I write a little paragraph every night. And sometimes I'm catching up on those a little bit, but to be honest, I do have a chunk in there from our move that I couldn't write anything. We were just too chaotic. So, and these are just a list of birthdays, but I don't need a list of birthdays and events. So I have, this is copied over. This I don't need. This is copied over in its own way. This I have room for. This was interesting to have a little reflection, but it was too much to take it from the week and copy it to here. Like I'm still doing some of that here. Again, June was chaotic, but I started, filling these, backdating them a little bit more, because I can finish this one up. And this one, I was doing pretty well. I backdated all of these, and I just need to write, a little bit here and here. So it's just this one where it got to be chaotic, which I think I can do. Like it would feel good just to kind of finish these up. But I don't feel a need to have this again. And then I'll have my goals, which I'll go over in a separate video. And then I did transfer over this one that I'm excited about. And then it goes right into the months. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And I thought back also to my health planner. And again, I wasn't really tracking much. This was how much I was tracking last year in January, and I really don't need to do this. It's not really helping me to have all that info. And so like right now, all I am tracking, as I mentioned, was Like this is the week right now. I'm just tracking the days of my cycle. And today I just like, oh, I noted a symptom here, but I just need to know like what day I'm on and that I'm transferring over. So I feel like I feel like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And maybe we're not missing anything. That's the biggest lesson I'm taking away from this is like, a lot of people will track a lot of things, but what is really important, if there's something else that pops up that I see someone else doing and I'm like inspired by it, like I can recreate it after this spread. I'll probably have a blank one in between just so I can allow for ghosting. But I'll have this one and then I can make a new spread here. And I would prefer if I caught on to these things in like January or February, if there's something I want to track all year. But otherwise, I kind of have to let it go and maybe track it mid-year, or maybe just be fine with tracking it whenever I start, or maybe I just don't need to track everything in my life, right? It depends. Like I've had medical conditions where I don't know what's going on. I need that info for my doctor. Like it is imperative to know which day things are happening, whether it's hormonal, whether it's food related. I had to wipe out almost everything from my food diet and start from scratch and see what was going on. So there are those times in my life, and I'm very fortunate right now to have as many conditions that I have, but not needing to track them. And I'm just kind of lucky with that right now. So I think I'm going to leave it there, and we'll have that separate goals video next. And I hope if you have any questions about anything, let me know. And I think that's it. I will be just planning my weeks in here. It'll just be my weeks, and then like this notes section for me is like if I need to take notes for phone calls or something, it's really nice to have everything that I can flip to really quickly. So I had that kind of in my old one, but I had like a paper tab. But yeah, and then actually I didn't go over these. Last year I put just a little bit of clear like gift wrapping tape on the fronts so these don't slide around, because I had them. I really like how they're just spaced out enough here, but then I found the backs were catching, so I also put a little tape on the back. And yeah, it doesn't look like it has a little tarnish on it because these are kind of coppery. When I peeled up the tape, it actually was a little green because of like the copper. And then it's a piece of tape on there. It's gonna get hand oils on it. It's just, and then these are a little bit gold. And this weekly one I'll be moving around. These I got from Color Cafe, I believe, the gold ones here. So yeah, that's how I get them to stick in there. And I do move them from book to book. And so, yeah, I got these out of my old one. And then I just have this last one as, instead of January, it's for the year. So, and I kind of wish I could tuck that whole year maybe up at the beginning. Like I could have tried to put a spread here or something, or made that spread and put these somewhere. But I really wanted like white behind here so it wouldn't show through as much. But yeah, I think some health appointments here, some like 3 main things I'm working on personally. These are personal goals, health things, media. It's all personal. It's all things that I can open up and not be inundated with like work, and go, oh, that thing has been on my list. And that's the goal. That's the goal of all this, just to have health and personal things in here for those weeks where you're just like wanting to be kind of kind to yourself with everything. Okay. Well, I will leave it there. This is March. Just might as well. Take care, everyone. And if you enjoyed this, let me know. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and more videos are coming. Take care, everyone. Bye.